Time to talk tech here on AMBC, and Tristan Jutras from Get Connected is joining us. And this is kind of nice because this rolls right off the travel segment that we just did with Bob and Trish. Because if you are driving out to Harrison, and Bob was talking about being 130 clicks, well, I live much closer than that, so it doesn't take as much gas from my house. You've got a really neat thing called Fuel Monitor.
Well, Fuel Monitor is great because what you can do is you set up this app on your iPhone or iPad, and you tell it what kind of car you have, what make and model, what gas prices are, and it will estimate the cost of fuel for any given trip. You put in your origin and your destination, say you're driving to Seattle or driving to Portland or San Francisco. You punch in all those details, and it will calculate for you the cost of fuel for the trip. And it's actually surprising. You don't really think about it. You only think about it when you're filling up.
Right, and that's kind of interesting because it may then help you make a decision on whether you're flying or carpooling or, you know, that kind of a thing, because a lot of us don't actually add the cost of the gas to the overall budget for traveling.
And
so
also will
really
help you split fuel costs with other people that may be carpooling with you on a trip. And when you're driving, it'll use its GPS and tell you the driving efficiency based on how fast you're going and how fast you're consuming the fuel.
And there's got to be another website or app out there that can tell you the tips for how to make your car more efficient to drive. Because, you know, if your tires are more full of air, I think you use less gas. Like if they're less bulgy.
They have to be just perfectly inflated. One of mine felt underinflated, but it was actually overinflated at one point, so they had to do something about that. And then there's Gas Buddy too, if you want to find the best gas prices around, but we're not talking about that.
Okay, Simply Declare, which is really good if you're having to come through Canadian Customs on your way back home.
Well, exactly. A lot of us go on our road trips and we do a bit of shopping, and we stress out as we're pulling up to the border, how much should we actually purchase? Unfortunately, it doesn't tell you what the actual limits are. You have to still remember what those limits are. It's $200 for 24 hours, $800 for 48 hours or a week.
Or a week, yeah.
And what Simply Declared does is it lets you keep track of all those purchases. You can take a picture of your receipt, punch in the numbers, and at the beginning, you tell it what your limit is, and it'll show you how close to the limit you're getting.
Oh, that's fabulous.
How many people in your family, all that sort of thing. So it's...
oh, that's great.
And even in local currencies, it'll do the conversions for you.
I saw that in the video off the top there. That's a really good idea. That's, you know what, that's kind of cool because lots of people do. They leave it to the last minute, driving up to the border. Where are your receipts, you know, or on the airplane. Okay, fill out the form. So if you do that as you go...
It's way more efficient, and it saves a lot of panic.
Less stressful,
So use in conjunction there's several border wait apps that you can download from the Android and iOS app stores as well.
Okay, Hotel Tonight.
So for the impulse travelers out there going on the road, hey, let's go to Portland, let's go to Seattle. I've got some friends that do that.
You must do that a lot because you've mentioned that twice.
Well, they're so close. But sometimes you make a snap decision, you just want to go. And a lot of times, the hotel prices can be expensive, you know, when you're just showing up in the door, because hotel prices are variable. It depends if you go online or if you call them up, if you show up at the front door.
It's crazy how different the price can be.
So Hotel Tonight, what it will do is it has a catalog of participating hotels, and it's a beautifully designed app, and it will show you what the best deals are in that city at that given time. And some, you know, it's $5 off, but some it's like $50 off because they're just trying to fill the rooms.
Right. So here's an example. You sent this information to us. Chris, one of our floor directors, decided to go to Seattle, went on Hotel Tonight, and got a room at the Warwick, regular $216 for $76.
Beautiful. And
it makes going fun, right?
Exactly.
Because now you've got a discount.
You just saved $140.
So do you know what hotel it is?
Oh, yes.
You're getting right away?
It'll show you a list.
Okay, because that's the thing I don't like about some of the other ones. And you'll get a random 4-star hotel. Really? Your 4 stars or my 4 stars? Or 3 stars or whatever. Yeah, and I'm always a little bit worried.
Which currency are those stars in?
As you pull up. I don't care how cheap it was. This wasn't what I was counting on. All right, and this one is funny.
Especially if you're in a foreign city or you're just out of town somewhere and you don't know, sometimes you really have to use the loo. As they say, I just came back from England. You got to find the loo somewhere, and you don't know. Sometimes the washrooms can be a little bit dodgy. Sometimes you have to pay for them, especially in Europe. When we were in Belgium, it's like pay toilets everywhere. France is the same way. Well, so there's the app called SitOrSquat, which is a bit of a classic, but it's been recently overhauled with the help of sponsors. Charmin, exactly. Those bears.
Yeah,
those bears kill me. And so what you do is it it'll pull up a map. It'll show you the nearby publicly accessible washrooms, and it'll show you a green roll of toilet paper or a red roll of toilet paper. The green means it's sit, it's okay to sit. Red means squat, means you don't want to touch the seat because it's nasty. And some people will leave reviews. They'll take photos. It'll say whether it's got a baby changing table.
No selfies, please.
Exactly.
No selfies from the washrooms.
Very handy when crunch time comes.
Yeah, have you ever used that? Like, not to get too personal, but
I'll take the fifth on that one.
That's really interesting because it's true. And you know what? I think especially if you're in a foreign country and you're traveling with children. And what also is really important is the rules are different in different countries, right? I remember being in Beijing and going into one of the old neighborhoods called Hutongs. And a lot of the houses there don't have bathrooms. So they used to just squat in buckets and things like that. They've now got sort of public washrooms outside of their houses. And we weren't sure as tourists if we were allowed to go in and use them or if they're kind of the domain of the locals, which is kind of interesting. What was fascinating to me was there was no option to sit because it's just two kind of feet put in over a hole. Yeah. And that's where you position your feet.
That's a different app, squat only.
All right, let's show people where they can find you, Tristan, because you've always got great information. You're with GetConnectedMedia.com. You're not a one-show kind of guy.
We're all over the place on TV, radio, internet.
It's awesome. Your Twitter handle is @Tristan Jutras or @GetConnected. Now, if folks have any questions, they can tweet you.